So, 1800s, the Americas are throwing a fit, but Europe's not done colonizing and it gobbles up all of Africa. All of it except Ethiopia. Prince Menelik II was born in 1844 in Angola, a small town in the Kingdom of Shewa. Now, technically Shewa was part of the Ethiopian Empire, but there was kind of a warring states thing going on, so Shewa was mostly autonomous, until recently when the emperor went from being a figurehead position to this guy, who was reconquering everything. So Menelik's dad was a bit busy resisting assimilation to his dying breath, but when the imperial army came storming through and his own family gave up on his cause, and there was nowhere left to run, he checked out and died of natural causes. So Emperor Tewodros yoinks the young Menelik and locks him far away. It was one of those royal imprisonments, though, where they give you a big room with a nice view and a free Tesla. Menelik even got to marry the emperor's daughter. It was a pretty good deal as far as kidnappings go. Meanwhile, back in Shewa, Menelik's uncle is acting as governor, and although he's basically in the same position as the old king, he decides he doesn't like being called governor and launches a rebellion which is immediately crushed because Tewodros literally just conquered the kingdom. So Tewodros says, enough with his family, you're in charge now. And can you guess what the first thing he does is? He rebels against the emperor. So while that's going on, Menelik's family, with the help of Muhammad Ali, it wasn't the boxer, or the Ottoman Pasha for that matter, but the only pictures of him are in obscenely low quality, so we're running with it. They bust Menelik out of prison and bring him back to Shewa, where he easily claimed the crown. Then he went a step further and laid claim to the entire Ethiopian empire, but he didn't really act on it, in part because Tewodros had become a father figure in the 10 years he'd spent in captivity, and Tewodros didn't make a move on Shewa because basically everybody was rebelling, and the Turks and Egyptians were attacking. But Menelik is busy winning friends and influencing people, so by the time Tewodros dies, and then the next guy dies, Menelik is ready to stake his claim as the rightful male descendant of King Solomon. Yes, that Solomon, who you might remember as being a king of Israel nearly 3,000 years ago, but there's this whole business with his wife, who is Ethiopian. The early lineage is a bit fuzzy, but that family had been ruling since at least the 1200s. Ethiopia's history is unique and strange and awesome. Check the description for some primers. Anyway, there's a fight, but a lot of nobles heard about Menelik's awesome parties, and he wins. So now he's got all of Ethiopia's problems to worry about and starts touring the empire, forcing everyone to submit. And generally, he's pretty cool with leaving existing power structures in place, except when he has to spend a lot of time and effort conquering places, in which case he's astonishingly brutal. But he wins the empire, he builds a new capital around his wife, and everything's beautiful. And then all the cows die, and horses cost more and can't plow the fields as well, so now you've got famine. And then there's an epidemic, so now you've got all these people starving and trying to relocate, and people are raiding. Basically, Ethiopia is one horseman shy of the apocalypse. Oh look, it's the Italian army. You see, a couple years earlier, Ethiopia signed a treaty with Italy saying, yeah, do whatever with Eritrea, it's not mine. But fun fact, when you translate that treaty into Italian, it gives Italy way more power than it does in Amharic. Menelik finds out, says, hey, not cool, that's not the treaty I signed. Italy tries to bribe him, but he's not having it, so they go to the last emperor's kid, hoping to stir up a little civil war like you do with native populations. But it's 1890-ish, Africa looks like this, and the kid's smarter than he looks. Out of the normal casus belli, the Italian army falls back on bigger gun diplomacy and lines up on the border, and they have to put down a rebellion in Eritrea first, and then they march into the empire. And then the Battle of Adwa happens. And we would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for my meddling superiors. You haven't seen the last of us. We'll be back. Arrivederci, amico. So yeah, they never got Ethiopia. Menelik didn't try to take Eritrea afterwards, so no one had a good excuse for defending Italy. He got support from Russia because they had a little Cold War thing going on with Britain, but with less nukes. And he got to modernizing the country. He cracked down on slavery, which had been illegal since the 50s, but difficult to stamp out. And he went hard on infrastructure. He made a bank, a postal system, modern plumbing, railways, phones and lights and motor cars, and modern luxuries. He even started a currency that wouldn't catch on for a few decades, but hey, foundations. Power started drifting away from him a bit in his old age. One of his wives tried to go a little Wu Zetian on him, but funny enough, they stayed together for a while after. Ultimately, he suffered a stroke and power was handed to a regency council before he passed away, leaving behind an Ethiopia that through war, famine, and only a few self-inflicted atrocities somehow persevered and came out stronger, at least until the next time. Well, that was Ethiopia. Hopefully we'll get back to Africa one of these days, but if you've got the itch for more, oh boy, check out the Project Africa playlist, where 26 channels have come together to proudly present over 2,000 years of history. If you're already in the thick of it, hi, I'm Jack Rackham, I make biographies. One of them is on the screen right now, and congratulations, you've almost made it to the present. Next is Hidden History's coverage of one of Menelik's battles, and if you're working your way back, House of History's put together a video about the Nile quest. That's all for me, bye-bye now.